What's up, everybody? This is the Healing Kings podcast, and I'm your host, Drew Koss. Have you ever made a mistake so bad that it haunted you forever? Or how about making a mistake so bad that you realize you lost a good chunk of money? If that's you, stay tuned for today's episode when we talk about how I lost 60K in 3 minutes. So let's get into the episode, guys. Today, as we help men, women get unstuck, mainly men, because men usually listen to the podcast more. Shout out to the men out here, get unstuck mentally, physically, and spiritually. Today's lesson is how a lack of confidence in my ability cost me 60K. So, tell your story. I had started doing some content, social media management, and the pandemic. This was about 2020, and this happened where I was just helping people out here and there, giving advice. I wasn't taking it serious at that moment, but people realized that I didn't know about content, and I actually love it. People realized that I was doing my own stuff, and they wanted to figure out how I could help them. So I got a call from my man Andy, who love dearly. This is a good dude to this day. Got a call from him, and he's like, "Hey, brother, I love what you do with your page. I love how it works. Can we set up a consultation?" We set up a consultation, and if you know Andy, Andy is very to the point, which I love. Like our conversation with somebody else can be a 3 minute conversation with Andy. I love that. So we get on the phone, and I'm telling him things he can do. He's like, yeah, I don't have the time to learn how to do that. I don't have the bandwidth to want to even do that. How much would it be if you do it for me, for my business? And at that time, his page was about posting maybe once every 2 weeks. it was a ghost town, but people loved him and they loved what he did and what he does. And he was so busy, he didn't get to it. So I was like, I was sending you a proposal. So I go up and I get in Canva. I get super, super technical. I give him the ins and outs, blah, 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 blah. This is the price. And I put the price on it for him. And I was scared because like the price was 300. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to see it and think I'm a fraud. So I see it. He pays it within seconds. He pays it. And he was like, how do we start? So we started his page and we get his page up to a good amount of followers. And we go from one post every 2 weeks to 3 posts a day, every day. Blow the page up, and Handy starts to refer me out. So I'm like, good, this is dope. I can do this work from home. I get a call from a company in Colorado, and they're like, hey, we got your number from Andy. We love what you've done with his page, blah, 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 blah. We're looking for somebody to come on the team, virtually and kind of manage how we do the content, how we manage, how we do the marketing and things like that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is so dope. In my head, everything in my head is screaming, what are you doing, Drew? You have no idea what you're doing. This is the villain in my head. You have no idea. You've never managed a company when it comes to content. So I'm like, all right, yeah, you're gonna manage this part, manage this part. We have some sponsorships coming, blah, 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 blah. And in my head, they're like, what would your price be? I was like, since you guys are cool, I'll do it for 300. And the look on their face told me two things. Either that price is too high, which it wasn't, or you just talked yourself out of a job because you priced way too low for what they're asking. And I felt like a frog was in my throat after that. I felt like an elephant sat on my chest, and my lack of confidence cost me 60K. How do I know that? So we continued the conversation, and I was on like an unpaid version of Zoom, so I couldn't go past 40 minutes. So I'm on this unpaid version of Zoom, and the Zoom cuts off. The Zoom cuts off, and I try to get them to log back in. They logged back in, and I was like, sorry, something happened. with the Zoom. Yeah, something happened. It got off. And we finished the conversation. And a day went by, another day went by, a week went by, and I hit them up and I was like, hey, even if we don't work together, I'm just seeing, what could have happened wrong, if it was my part or something like that. And they were like, no, 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 we got super busy. And I found out I knew because I priced so low, my lack of confidence was showing because I priced so low, they didn't think I was actually competent of doing that role. Truth be told, I wasn't. I was gonna figure it out. And that's one thing I'm like, hey, if I get in the door, I'll figure out how to get in and stay in. And I found out that I was pricing way too low, and it was because of my lack of confidence. Now, if that job came to me now, I'd be all over it. At that time, my lack of confidence was the villain. It was the thing that was kicking me in the back, telling me I can't. And it came out by how I price. So this is a lesson for coaches, for consultants, freelancers. I'm not saying that you need to go price something ridiculously high. It's all based on what you want to charge. But you don't want to let your lack of confidence or rejection of what they might say be the thing that stops you. After that, I did some social media for companies and things like that. And I had another episode. This time, a company wanted me to do a lot of work, and I gave them a price that was way higher than 300. I was like, you have no idea how long it takes to create the content, to package it, to schedule it, to go get it. It takes a long time and a lot of work and a lot of back and forth. And I priced them, and the guy yelled at me. The guy was like, how could you charge something like that? How can you guarantee my business? He went off, and I sent him a nice breakdown of what happens. And I was like, you can do this yourself. I'm going to show you what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to have this software. You're going to need to have a scheduler or do it yourself manually. You're going to have to be good at writing because you have to actually get the people to come back to your page. I write down all this stuff, and I show him in breakdowns what it costs, how much time it takes. And he called back and he apologized. And I didn't work with him because things didn't pan out. I didn't work with him. But for the younger entrepreneur, the consultant, whoever you are, your lack of confidence will push you out of doors before the door even opens. So, Drew, how did you overcome or how did you beat this villain of lack of confidence? I started looking at things and opportunities as if it comes to me, it doesn't mean I have to take it. But if my price is my price, that's my price. If a person cannot do it with either payment plans or I don't feel deeply in my heart that I'm supposed to work with them, then it's okay. I didn't have it anyway. I didn't lose out. I've also had people when I've put a price out come back and be like, you know what? I thought about it. I thought about how much valuable this is, how much time this is going to save me, how much leads this is going to get me. So let's do it. But I told myself, if I'm lacking confidence or I feel this villain is coming after me, which is the lack of confidence villain, I'm going to go sit. I'm going to go calm myself down and talk myself into it. I talk myself into it by letting my current self know your future self can do this job. Your future self can learn. Anything that people have, you can learn it too. If it's through coaching, YouTube, mentorship, masterminds, however, you can learn it also. So you don't have to talk yourself out of it. Most people who have gotten jobs, honestly, they had no idea what they were doing. They got themselves ready and they went into it and learned. So today, that's the lesson. Don't let your lack of confidence talk you out of good things. And that 3-minute conversation, that latter part, cost me $60K. It would have been a $60K job. I'd have been doing it from home. And I lost it. And instead of sitting and wallowing in regret, I decided, take this lesson, go learn to work against this lack of confidence, and go be great. So my last part, my challenge for you today Where are you lacking confidence? My last question, where are you lacking confidence? And what could you do today to make that confidence start to dwindle? The way you do that is by taking action. I always say you don't need more confidence. You need more evidence of what you do, because evidence can't be denied. So, guys, take these lessons, these tips, and go be great.